Hello, fellow Americans. This is Cathi Chamberlain, otherwise known as the deplorable author of the book Rules for Deplorables, a primer for fighting radical socialism. You're about to view a video of a presentation I recently made to a group of patriots just like you. If you like what you see, drop on by my website where you can order the book. It comes in ebook, audiobook, and also the paperback. That would be www.rulesfordeplorablesbook.com. Thank you so much for your support.
Let her talk, and about 10 minutes, and then before you leave, go up and take a look at her books and see if you might want to take one home to somebody that and give it to them that teaches them about deplorable. Hold on, Cathi.
Thank you, Jacqueline. And thank you all here tonight. I'm so pleased to be here. This is actually my first foray outside of Pinellas County, so that says something. Now, other than the adorable deplorable back there, do we have any other deplorables in the room? Well, I'm also known as the deplorable author. And the way I got into this, I never thought 2 years ago that I'd ever be standing in front of a group like this talking about a book like this. Because I wasn't a writer. I'm actually a trained building contractor here in the state of Florida. And about a year and a half ago, just a little over a year and a half ago, I was busy making a whole bunch of money inspecting roofs after Hurricane Irma came through here. And life was great. And I was about 10 feet up my ladder one day, and the ladder just slipped to the left. And I fell back onto a concrete slab, and I broke my back in a couple places, and I broke both my wrists, and a lot of other complications. I was in the hospital for 3 months, throwing everything I could at Fox News. Every time I'd hear somebody attack President Trump, I'd be like, I can't handle it, I gotta do something. Well, the doctor said I couldn't go back to my previous employment, so I basically started all over again. And I remembered as I was laying in that hospital bed about a book called Rules for Radicals. How many people here have read Rules for Radicals? Cool. That's good to see. Well, Rules for Radicals was written back in the early 70s by a gentleman by the name of Saul Alinsky, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of him. And Saul Alinsky he's known as the father of community organizing. I'm sure most of you probably know that. Our previous president, Obama, studied under his philosophies. And our nearly almost president, Hillary Clinton, did her college thesis on Saul Alinsky. So, they believe in the whole philosophy. Well, what did Saul Alinsky write about? He wrote about 13 tactics that could be used, basically, to transform our country into a socialist one. That's what the left has been using his tactics for. They'll tell you his tactics aren't for that, but believe you me, they are. And so, I was, back in the day, a flaming liberal in California. I lived there for 15 years before moving here. And the only reason I started kind of moving to the right was a little man named Ross Perot. And I just loved him. So I volunteered for his campaign and everything. Well, the more I started realizing that maybe I was blinded and indoctrinated virtually, seriously, by the left in California, I started going further and further to the right. Excuse me. And I moved to Texas for a job transfer, and then I was only there for about 2 years, and then I moved here back in '95 to St. Pete. But I never transferred my voting to Republican. I'll be honest with you. I switched over to independent after Ross Perot, and I just stayed there because I wasn't overly thrilled with everything about the Republican Party either. And the only thing that made me become a Republican, can anybody guess what that might have been? That's right. I took vote for him in the primary and it just about killed me. Yeah, there you go. So, as I was laying in the hospital bed, I started thinking about Saul Alinsky and his tactics. I thought, you know, I read about this guy back when I was a liberal, and he made sense back then. And I thought, how many people don't know about him and his tactics? I can tell you a lot. And you know who doesn't know about his tactics? Are the never-Trumpers. I can tell you that right now. Because even though they're Republicans, when you hear somebody say our president is not presidential, how many times do we hear that? Or that he should stop tweeting? I have a chapter in my book, chapter 8, called Trick or Tweet. It's all about Trump's tweeting, and I did a lot of research for this book. I did over 400 footnotes are in it. I've taken each one of Saul Alinsky's tactics and started off a chapter with it. So chapter 1 has Alinsky tactic number 1. And I go through each one and explain how they're being used to tear down our country. And once you understand what these tactics are, it makes so much sense. And we have got to stand up and fight back. When Trump tries to fight back with his tweets, or by telling us everything that's going wrong with the Democratic Party, or what did he just do the other day? Oh God, I love this one. So he calls Baltimore rat-infested, and I mean, he loves to just tweet people. And when Elijah Cummings, who was obviously the representative, a part of that district, when he came out, and what did they do? Do you remember what they did? They came out and they started accusing Trump of trying to exterminate. Why did they use the word exterminate? They used that because exterminate is kind of what you do with an infestation. And they love to do that. There's an Alinsky tactic called the most potent weapon to man is ridicule. Ridicule is the most important weapon they use. And Alinsky said, the more you can use it, the more dramatic you can be, the more shocking you can be, the better. It doesn't have to be true. Those are his words. In war, he says, you can use any means necessary, and they do. And those of us who know Alinsky's tactics, we can see right through them. Trump does too. He plays the tactics fantastically. And the only problem with him playing the tactics is that the establishment elite gets down on him. We can't do that anymore. It divides us. It makes. I was at a PCREC meeting last night, and a gentleman came up to me and he was telling me all about. I saw Pretty. And he was talking to me all about how bad Trump is because he hasn't done the wall, he hasn't finished the wall, and I'm like, excuse me, have you been watching the last 2 years where he's been trying to fight off impeachment? And the collusion delusion? That's one of my chapters too, by the way, collusion delusion. I think you guys would really love the book. Anyone who doesn't know about Alinsky's tactics, it's so critical to spread this word. If you know of any groups that would love to hear me speak there, please let me know. I'm going to as many groups as I can. Becky, thank you so much for inviting me here. But please stop by and let me give you a little bit more information about Alinsky. I'll let everybody get back to, or have they not come out with the food? Because I could go on and on. That's up to you. Thank you very much, everybody, for having me, and appreciate meeting everybody.